Do you ever wish you knew 3 or 4 easy ways to set up one of these tarps? Well, if you do, you've come to the right place. Hey folks, welcome back. My name's Alan from Season 10 of Alone, and this is Tenta Outdoors. Today, we're going to learn 4 tarp configurations that are simple, easy, and really effective.
We must find shelter.
In order to complete 3 of the 4 tarp configurations we're working on today, you're going to need to know what a ridgeline is. Ridgeline. So this is going to be one end of my ridgeline on this tree here. And I'm going to show you guys 2 knots that you can use. You can choose. One simple, and the other one's really simple. So the first method of attaching your ridgeline to a tree, you're going to need to tie a little loop. I chose to make a bowline, but you can tie any kind of loop you want. So I'm going to take the other end, like this, creating another small loop. Then I'm going to take a stick that I found on the ground, and I'm going to pass it through that loop. I'm going to pull it tight. Now when you're ready to go, you simply just pull that out, and you're done. So your second knot option is something called the timber hitch. I'm going to make a little loop, just like this. I'm going to twist this the tag end, I'm going to twist the tag end around the line 5 times or so. You're done. It looks like this. Then you're simply going to pull it tight. They used to use this knot in horse logging to pull logs out of the bush. And it's simply friction and it doesn't slip. And it's really, really easy to get undone. That's the timber hitch. On this end of the ridgeline, we're going to use a hitch called the trucker's hitch. It's a great option because you can really crank it tight to get this ridgeline like a guitar string, which makes it easier to hang your tarp. So to tie the timber hitch, you're going to come off the tree about 2 feet or so to leave yourself room to crank it up and tighten it. The first step in tying the trucker's hitch, you're going to make a little bite in the line like this. You just twist it. This side of the line towards the tree, and you're going to pass it through that little bite or loop you just created to make another loop. Now the good thing about these loops, when you're done, they just come right undone. Now that I have my loop, I'm going to pass this end through the loop. Tenta Outdoors pro tip, put it through the loop twice. Watch what happens. If you put it through twice, it creates a lock that won't slip when you tighten it. So you can crank down on this hitch really tightly. I need to lock this part so it won't slip back. Make a little slip knot just like so. Folks, if you are enjoying the content on my channel, if you wouldn't mind, hit that subscribe button. That would be great and I'd really appreciate it. Now there's some discussion about whether or not you should put your tarp over your ridgeline or hang your tarp off your ridgeline. And the truth is, it doesn't really matter. There's some advantages and disadvantages to both. Today's video, we're going to be hanging our tarp off our ridgeline using these little bad boys called Prusik loops. Now to tie a Prusik knot, you're going to have to create a loop. Now Prusik knots work the best if you use cordage a little bit smaller in diameter than what's on your ridgeline. Now to attach it together, I just used a fisherman's knot, but any knot will work to create a loop. Now the great thing about the Prusik knot is you can slide it and adjust it along your ridgeline. But when there's pressure on the bottom loop, it holds fast. Perfect for hanging up tarps. So to attach my tarp to my Prusik knot loop, I'm simply going to pass my Prusik through the loop on the tarp, pass the Prusik through itself again, create a little loop. I can attach a small stick through that to prevent it from pulling through. That way I have a really easy, quick release knot that I can take out to adjust my tarp configuration according to the wind or for breaking camp. Folks, our first tarp configuration for today is the simplest, easiest shelter of them all. It's called the lean-to. All I've done, I've strung up one edge of my tarp onto my ridge line I created earlier. I used the PRC loop to attach this corner and the other corner, and I've simply pulled them tight. Cozy. Our next tarp configuration is called the A-frame. You can use it as a tent, you can raise it up off the ground if you want, you can put it as high or as low as you want. In this case, I've got it low enough so I can tack it against the ground. If it's warm or if it's just going to be temporary or over a picnic table, you can have it off the ground to have airflow beneath. It's your choice. You can do whatever you want. Now I've attached it on each end and once in the middle using my PRC loops and the same method we used earlier with the lean-to, just with that little piece of wood. Now all I have to do is tackle the corners. The simple A-frame. So the next shelter configuration I'm going to talk about is a little bit near and dear to my heart because it's the one I used on the show for I think 12 or 13 nights until my permanent shelter, the teepee, was completed, and it worked great. I think we had like a 2 or 3 day rainstorm and I stayed completely dry, including my sleeping bag and all my gear. The C-fly, envelope, or modified lean-to with a ground sheet. You got your sleeping sheet here, and lots of room for your gear out here. Our last tarp configuration is called the Plow Point. This one's great because there's no ridge line, there's just one corner tied to a tree and 3 stakes. So we're going to tie one end off to a tree using that little spike hitch I showed you guys earlier in the video. So I've got my tie off to the tree here. You're going to lay your tarp out like a diamond facing the tree you're going to tie off to with one corner ready to tie up here. The popular Plow Point. Folks, I appreciate you guys sticking around to the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Go outside and practice these 4 tarp configurations. You'll get faster at it, more efficient. And my name's Alan. This is Tent Outdoors. We'll see you next time.